guys, welcome back to Pipes Quick Singles. I think it's episode 4. Sorry for a bit of delay, but Sebi Blasik's not too good on the editing. Now we've decided to go a slightly more serious note this week. We're interviewing one of the club legends in Pete, the Reverend Nelson. Thanks for spending a bit of time with us today, Pete. First of all, I suppose we might start off with how long have you been playing for North Canberra Gungahlin?
I've been playing for Canberra North since they were inaugurated, since 1889.
1889?
No. It seems like that, but it's actually 1989, but before that I played with City for about 3 seasons.
Yeah. So, and you're a Canberra local, or I think you moved up here from Tasmania, didn't you?
No, I came from Launceston, which you know is the same place as Ricky Ponting.
Yes. So did you teach him a few things around that?
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
I left Tasmania before Ricky was born.
Okay. Were you saying that you're a better cricketer than he is? Or?
Not at all.
No?
But I played in the same competition that he played in,
Yeah.
and played against fellows that mentored him.
Yeah.
So I came from Tasmania to Victoria,
Yeah.
and then I started playing in Canberra when I was 43.
Yeah. No worries. And what would be your cricketing highlight throughout your career?
I'll probably, on a team level, winning a premiership in the Victorian sub-district competition, which was a very hard competition to win because there were 28 teams and we had to be the best, and we won a grand final, so that was a really big achievement, team-wise,
And how did you do that, you Pete? Plenty of runs?
Yeah, I got a few, yeah.
He's always very, very modest.
I got a few, but we had a very good team. We had a few ex-Victorian players playing with us, and a number of ex-Victorian grade players, and we had a very strong team. Yeah. So it was a good year. Yeah.
Now, what about most special cricketer that you've ever played with or against?
The most special one would be, well, it's a bit of a toss-up between Alan Knott and Neil Hawke. Yeah. Neil Hawke I played with when I was very young, and I learned a lot from Neil. I learned a lot about attitude and application and discipline. And then I had the privilege of playing with Alan Knott and learned a lot about paying attention to detail. And he was a very interesting person, Alan Knott, because when he came to play with us, he had a tendon injury, Achilles tendon injury. Yep. And he was so particular about keeping it under control, he would never drive a car, so that he'd make sure that was under control and he'd be ready for the next English season. But he had a lot of knowledge about cricket, and I learned a lot through playing with him and against him. Yep.
Now, you've obviously learnt a lot through your cricketing career. Do you enjoy passing that knowledge on to some of the younger generation?
I do. The little that I have gained or retained, I do enjoy it, and there's always more to learn in cricket. I found that you never get on top. There's always more to learn, and I really like the technical side of the game, and I'm finding out that there's always more to learn.
Yeah. So the game's keeping you young?
It's keeping me very young.
And you still love getting to training and hanging around with everyone at the club. It's fantastic, I think. Yeah,
well, some people go jogging, other people go swimming. I just like being at training and bowling and batting and running around.
Yeah, and still smashing all the first grade bowlers in the nets, even though
no,
you're a little bit older than us.
Those days are past.
No, I think you still hold your own, Pete. It's fantastic, and you're an inspiration to us all. Now, speaking of special cricketers, some that you've played with or against, how about some that you see maybe coming through the ranks at North's juniors or younger kids around the club? Who do you think we should be looking out for?
Well, the ones that I can only speak of the ones that I've played with, and I think Tommy Howes, he's got a really good attitude, got good application, and is really willing to learn, and I think he'll go a long way.
He scored a 50 with you a few weeks
ago. He did, yes. And Josh Hogan, he's got lots of ability, and he likes his cricket, and he's got lots of ability, and I think he'll go places too. They're the two that I've seen. There are others who, if they work hard, will become very, very good cricketers. Young Daniel Ward, he's learning, but he's he's applying it and doing quite well. And also young Brad Rawton, he's a leg spinner, but if he perseveres, and that's the hard thing for leg spinners, they've got to take a lot of knocks and a lot
it's a very tough art,
hard days.
Yeah.
But if he perseveres, he could be a very, very good spin bowler.
Yeah, and I think they're under the best tutelage going around with you as their skipper, Pete.
Well, I wouldn't.
You're doing a great job with the 5th grade team.
Oh.
Is it the Bald Eagles?
It's the Golden
The
Eagles.
Golden Eagles, sorry.
We're,
My mistake.
Yeah, well, we've done so well so far, but it's a long, long season, and we've and winning is not the primary thing. If you know, if the kids develop and enjoy the game and learn about the game and become better cricketers through it, that's the primary thing.
Yeah.
And winning is a real bonus, and we'll take a win any time, but it's not our primary focus at the moment.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic attitude, and I think one that the club does well in using that approach this year.
Yeah.
Now, Pete, you're a very, very modest person, which I think everyone would agree, but I do hear that you've done some pretty impressive things outside of cricket during your time. Maybe something to do with the Olympics. Can you maybe broaden everyone's knowledge on those? Those areas?
Well, I've had the privilege of going to 2 Olympic Games. One's in Atlanta, and one in Sydney, and it's a real privilege being there and serving the athletes and the staff in the village.
Yeah.
And you know, Olympic villages are like teenagers' heaven. You get everything you want. You get McDonald's free, you get Coke free, you get everything free.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely amazing. And you meet some really interesting people. You know, I've met some top athletes, and I've also met those that really, really struggle. I remember in Atlanta, we were there, and some athletes came from the Seychelles, and they didn't have any athletic shoes. They didn't have any running shoes. They only had the street shoes to run in, and so we tried our best to get them some proper shoes. It was pretty hard, but eventually we did, and they got on the track. But of course, they were only there because to make up numbers, and their times were just times that people running here could beat. But you get those sort of people who go to Olympic Games, and it's a big culture shock for them to come from a small island to go to a big city and to be there. It's, and the other thing is that I met a young Indonesian boxer, and that was a fascinating experience, because he said the only reason I'm a boxer is because my father's the coach of the Indonesian team. And he said I'm a Christian, and I don't think it's right to hate people. I don't think you should hate people. And my dad says I've got to hate my opponent in order to win. Yeah. And so he said to me, "What do you think about it?" And I had quite a long talk to him about boxing being a contest, and how it's a match of skills, of defence and attack. And I had a long talk to him. Anyhow, I said to him, "Look, I'll come and watch you box." And so I managed to get a ticket at the last minute to see him box at the Olympic Games, and by pure coincidence I got row number 1, seat number 1. Yeah. And sitting right in front of me was Evander Holyfield. Anyhow, I thought this kid was going to fight. He's only about 17. I thought he was going to fight first up, but he didn't come on till about 11 o'clock at night. Yeah. And he's only about 17. He's fighting this Brazilian guy who was about 28 and really hardened fighting. Yeah. But the fight was just magnificent. It was just 3 rounds, 3 minutes, and there wasn't a backward step taken. It was just magnificent. And when the fight finished, the whole crowd rose up. The only time at the night, the whole crowd rose up, and then the referee gave the fight to the Brazilian. Yeah. And the young guy from Indonesia was fantastic. He bowed to the crowd, north, south, east, and west. Jumped out of the crowd, hugged his father, shook hands with Evander Holyfield, and went out smiling. And so I went to see him today, the next day, and I said, "Look, that was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I said it was just magnificent. Your attitude, the way you fought, and things like that. So
I'm sure some of your words got him through as well.
Well, I don't know, but it was a great experience to be involved in at that level.
Yeah.
And, it was so.
I'm sure you've got plenty more stories about those sort of times.
Oh yes. It is a time where there's a lot of pressure on athletes, a lot of stress.
Yeah.
Especially those that are right at the top level. But for those that come from smaller nations, it's a time for them to gain a lot of experience.
Yeah, that's right.
And they value that very much indeed.
Yeah. Now, Pete, what do you enjoy the most about North Canberra Gungahlin Cricket Club?
Oh, I think that, the players are very special. I think they're a great group of guys. They love their cricket, and they're great guys.
Yeah.
I enjoy being with them all the time.
Yeah, I think your influence is definitely rubbed off on myself and everyone else around the club, Pete, and it's you're an inspiration to not only myself and all the other people in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, whatever it is, but anyone that comes into contact with you is always very glowing of the way that you treat every person around the place, and we really, really appreciate you being around the club for such a long time.
Yeah, well, I hope I'm around for a bit longer.
I hope you're around till I'm in my 50s or 60s, Pete. Thank you very much.
Thanks
for having a chat to us.
Thank you.
And best of luck with the rest of the season.
Yeah, and you too. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Pete.